We wanted to guard against losing the glory of love. We did not fear divorce as much as we feared a more subtle enemy, gradual separatedness. Looking about us, we saw marriages perishing because the couples took love for granted, ceasing to do things together, finding separate interests. Couples we knew were turning we into I as their marriages aged. We observed a subtle separateness creeping into their marriage with barely any notice, each of them going off to their separate jobs in separate worlds, while their apartness was quietly tearing at their union. Why let this happen to us? Why not rise the shining barrier as Sheldon and Davy did? We were inspired. Late in the spring, just days before our wedding, we sat on a beach talking about our love and impending commitment and concluded that there was something cold about making a contractual agreement, a binding commitment to stay together. We didn't want to perform marital duties because we had to, because we were locked into it externally. We were looking for a deeper bond that transcended even the idealized vestige of the shining barrier. That is when the real lesson of Sheldon and Davy's story hit us, that becoming soulmates ultimately requires more than an appeal to love, more than a commitment to extravagant sharing. It requires an appeal to God. The aching, burning urge you and your partner have to be connected soul to soul can only be quenched when your spirits are joined by a greater spirit, Jesus Christ, the ultimate shining barrier. So remember this, the sacred secret to becoming soulmate is pursuing a mutual communion with God. Then we have, for our reflection, finally we've come to the end of chapter 7. The reflection says, number 1, some couples confuse being exactly alike or having a 50-50 marriage with being soulmates. Why is this not really accurate? Question 2, there is an aching in our souls that longs for deeper meaning and connection with our partners and with God. In what way, either positive or negative, do you see people trying to quench this taste of their spirit? Question 3, in what ways have you seen God revealed in your marriage? Question 4, praying together can be difficult for couples. Sometimes one partner feels more comfortable with it or more eager to do it than the other, and this imbalance can make the other partner prayer shy. How do you see this spiritual discipline being a part of your marriage? How can couples tend the soul of their marriage through shared services? Do you know of couples who practice this discipline? In what ways could you incorporate service into your marriage? I think it's visiting day 6 for me. Okay, and there is a little more bit here in the appendix, and it's titled Discovering Your Personal Dynamics. There is a quote here by Carl Jung, and it says, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Every marriage relationship is unprecedented. Every couple is unique. There has never been a marriage like the one you are starting. When two personalities come together, the combination of your dynamics creates a unique blend of characteristics and qualities. The better you understand your combination of traits, the more likely you are to appreciate them and use them to your advantage. It is what caused German poet Henrike Heine to liken marriage to the high sea for which no compass has yet been invented. Sure, there are universal techniques and strategies that can help nearly every couple. Empathy is a good example. What married relationship couldn't benefit from more of that? Right? But implementing a technique or strategy for more empathy becomes a challenge that hinges on that couple's combined personality. Subheading: why you need to know your personality dynamics. Every autumn semesters for many years running, I, Les, have taught a university class called Personality. You will find this course in every undergraduate curriculum for psychology majors in every college in the country. Scholars agree that this information is essential to a basic education in the science of psychology. We have come to believe that this information should also be required study for anyone who gets married. Why? Because understanding your personality dynamics can often make the difference between sinking and swimming in marriage. The word personality originates from the Latin persona, which means mask. And all of us can't help but to wear a mask of sorts when we first enter into a dating relationship. Think about the first date the two of you had. Maybe you went to a nice dinner. We had ours at the Magic Pan in Kansas City on the famed plaza. Perhaps we went to a movie or a concert, played mini golf, or attended a ball game. You can probably recall what you were wearing, maybe even what you had for dinner. You may even recollect what you talked about, and you may be able to conjure up some of the feelings you had on the first date. Why? Because if you are like most people, you put a lot of energy into it. You worked hard to create a positive impression of who you were for this person whom you eventually decided to marry. Even if you decided at the onset that you were just going to be yourself, you couldn't help feeling a bit of pressure to perform and to be the best you possibly can. There is a quote here by Sam King, and it says, "We come to love not by finding a perfect person, but by learning to see an imperfect person perfectly." It is commonly believed that nearly everyone wears some sort of a mask on their face on their first few dates. They may wear a mask for some time, wanting to continue a charade of the very best version of themselves. Some would argue that mask wearing may even continue into the first bit of marriage. But sooner or later, the masks for both people come off. The real person is revealed. We see what they do when they are hot, angry, jealous, annoyed, and so on. It can't be helped. If you are with someone long enough in varying circumstances, you gradually discover the actual person. That is why some say love is blind, but marriage restores its sight.